It's time to cook. So we're turning these hamburger patties into Salisbury steak, maybe? We'll see how this comes out. Alright, so gradually stir 1 cup water into gravy mix in saucepan. Cook over medium heat, stirring until gravy comes to a boil. Reduce heat and simmer 1 minute. So I'm going to turn the heat back up for this in. And maybe I should have taken the meat out first. Too late now. Stir this. So gravy is one thing I have not learned how to make. I think you do something like brown the flour, then add water or something like that. But I remember trying to make gravy once, and it was a disaster. And I never had a reason to try and make gravy since becoming the quarantine chef. But I may try it just because. All right. So after cooking the meat over there, the Salisbury steak, I was reminded of a childhood meal. We used to have it at school all the time. It's mashed potatoes, the Salisbury steak, and sweet peas. I don't have any sweet peas, but I do have some potatoes, so I'm going to attempt to make some homemade mashed potatoes. So let's start by washing these potatoes. Alright, so now I'm going to cut these. And so I love mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes used to be one of my favorite foods. And I remember when I was younger, I don't remember what was wrong with me. But I went to the doctor, and for whatever reason, the doctors told me not to eat milk. And my family used to go to Ryan's all the time, almost every Sunday. Well, no, that's not true. We would go often enough, and every time I would go, I would get the same thing. Mashed potatoes, macaroni, and then after I ate that, I would get nachos. But I remember, and y'all, I used to be, I still like to eat, but I won't consider myself greedy now, but I used to be greedy when I was younger. And I remember I was at the buffet, ready to fix my food, and one of my parents, I don't remember if it was my mom or my dad, but one of them told me not to eat the mashed potatoes because it might have milk in it. And can y'all believe I cried? I wanted those mashed potatoes so bad because I loved mashed potatoes and because I was greedy. So when I eat mashed potatoes, I often think about that. The time I cried because I couldn't have any. Alright, so for my next step, I'm going to drop my potatoes in the pot. And I'm going to cover with water. Alright, I'm going to turn the heat on and bring these to a boil. And as they're getting ready to heat up, I'm going to add some salt. So now that this has come to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat down a bit. And I'm going to loosely cover this and let it cook for about 15 minutes. Alright, so I've drained the potatoes, and now the instructions just tell me to leave them in the pan, stir them around every now and then for about 1 or 2 minutes. Did that make you dizzy? So it's been about 2 minutes, so on to the next step. I think this is my potato masher. If it's not, it's going to be the potato masher tonight. So let's mash these potatoes. And now I need both hands so the pot doesn't slide off the stove, so I'll be back. Alright, so now I'm going to add in some butter. Gonna add in a little salt, and I'm gonna add in some pepper. And now I'm gonna use what I hope is my potato masher to mash these potatoes. So definitely need 2 hands. And the final step, add milk until it's nice and creamy. So I'm just gonna add a little at a time. I think that's a little. And I'll mix this up, see how it is, and add more if needed. A little more. I'm gonna add one more splash. And I'm gonna add the rest of this butter. So my mashed potatoes are looking nice and creamy. And I decided to keep the skin in. I think I remember reading, or I heard somewhere that there are a lot of nutrients that's in the skin of the potato. And so since then I've started eating the skin. But I don't know that I've ever had mashed potatoes with the skin in. I don't know, but it should be fine, I guess. It looks good to me. Nice and creamy. I was so hungry I started eating without you guys. And the first bite was really good. I ended up not adding more salt to the potatoes because the gravy was well seasoned. So it's really good. I'm impressed. I think I did a great job for my first time making homemade mashed potatoes. And the little gravy pack, that turned out well too, so I may learn how to make real gravy from scratch, and I may not. But what I am going to do is finish eating, and I'll see you guys in the next video.